Good afternoon, Missio Day. It's great to be with you again. I wanted to real quick jump in and give you 3 things that you should know as you plug into life here at the church. The first one is that one of our values as a church is we want to be a place that you can invite your friends. We try to use that phrase often. And one of the things that we want to do during this strange season that we're in, where all of our church services are online, is we've created a short bumper video for you to share with your friends, to email or to post to social media. And it's on our YouTube page, and it's just a way to let them know what we're doing as we are doing church online at 9:30 Sunday mornings for Missio Kids or 10 o'clock for the main service. And we want you to be able to continue to lean into that value of inviting your friends to church. If you remember back to when we were meeting at the school, which seems so long ago, but on the tables we always had those invite cards, a little business card that said, "You're invited." And part of our ethos and our culture we want to have as a church is we want to be that place where you can invite your friends to come to church, because your friends need to hear of the love of Jesus. You know that they will be loved well, that they will experience the love of Jesus through the love of his people. And there's no type of person for whom the gospel is not good news. So in that case, we want everything that we do as a church to be welcoming and inviting, and a place where your friends would be comfortable if you brought them to church. And that's still true even though we're meeting online instead. So that little video is just a way to share with people, to invite them to church. Below this video, there is a link to that, so you can go directly to that if you want to see that bumper video to share. The second thing is that we want to continue to remind each other to love your neighbors, to love our neighbors well. We've talked a few weeks ago about how as things are heating up, as the tension is rising in society, the division between how we think we should best respond to this coronavirus and the lockdown is getting more and more stark in the contrast. And in that division and the tension that our culture is experiencing, we want to remember that as Christians, we can be that loving presence, that merciful, gracious, kind presence in the middle of our neighborhoods when everyone else seems to be losing their mind, going out of control. We need to guard our own hearts. We need to make sure that we're not giving in to the same temptation to not love people the way Jesus has called us to love them. And so to that end, also below this video is another link to an article written by Brett McCracken that we think is super helpful as far as getting to the important things in this season. He calls us to live countercultural lives amidst this crazy season that we find ourselves in. It's definitely worth your time to read. And even if you don't read it, just remember this reminder that we need to continue to love our neighbors well and to love each other well, as there's so many different opinions about how we should be responding to the COVID-19 pandemic. So that gets us to our last point, the third thing, and this is probably the most important for us to do as far as an action item this week, is we would like for you to take our survey. So again, below this video, there's another link. It's to a Google form of a survey that we would love to hear your response to. As the government begins to loosen restrictions on gathering, we're preparing to have an in-person gathering as soon as the school will allow us, and we're trying to figure out the safest and the best way to do that, to serve the most people, to do the best ministry. And so one of the things that can help us with that is this survey we've put together. It's not a way for us to vote on how to best do this. Rather, what it is a chance for us as the elders to know where our church stands, what we're feeling about these things, how ready we are to get back together physically, and how to best do that in a way that loves everyone involved. So if you could take that survey this weekend, that would be super helpful, because the rumor is that on Monday the governor is going to unveil the next phase of how Colorado is responding in this lockdown. So there's potential for us to be moving rapidly, and we would love to hear your input to know how we can best love and serve each other with that. So just kind of a quick recap. We want to be a place you can invite your friends, and make sure we're continuing to do that during this season. And to that end, we've filmed a short video that you can share with your friends to invite them to join us online for church. We want to be reminding each other to love our neighbors well, to love each other well, especially as the differences are becoming so clear in how our culture is responding to this. And lastly, please respond to this survey. Let us know where you currently stand, so that we can best love and serve everyone in our church. So speaking of that, we do love you guys. We cannot wait to see you again soon, hopefully, Lord willing. And until then, keep praying that God would show us how this is an opportunity, not an obstacle, for us to love people well and see people come to know Jesus.